In today's video, we will be learning a very important concept inside HubSpot, which is creating lists, or how do you add contacts inside lists. Before we get there, it is extremely important for all of us to understand why do we even need lists, or what lists are and how can you use lists. So if you are on your HubSpot account, you would most likely be on your contact screen. If you click on this contacts button and this drop down, you will see this option of lists. Now, before we go into that list and see what happens there, just imagine a situation. You want to throw an event or invite various salespeople who live in Bangalore for you as a publisher. Now, this Bangalore could be Dallas, it could be LA, it could be any part of the world, right? So basically what I'm saying is that you have a selection criteria based on which you want to make an outreach. Now, one of the ways that you could potentially do is go into your email inbox, filter out, or just create an Excel sheet manually. I'm pretty sure if you're watching this video, that is how you would have been doing this. HubSpot gives you a simpler way of managing these contacts, or rather collating these contacts in one place, and that is precisely what lists are, right? So if you just come back here and under contacts, click on lists, you will see that HubSpot allows you to create lists to power your businesses. These are essentially used for segmenting your audience based on certain parameters, right? Now, the example that we will take for this video is I want to invite everybody to a publisher event, but I only want to invite those people who are close to me, and one of the ways to figuring that out is I should have their phone number. So you already know how to add contacts to your HubSpot account. If you've not seen that video, we will link the video for sure. And once you have added all the contacts, you would essentially have either their email IDs or phone number. Now, because this is going to be a close-knit event, I want to only reach out to people whose phone numbers I have. So how I will create that list and how I will reach out to them is something that we will try and do now. So the first thing, once you have come into your list screen, is to click on this right hand side button which says create list. So we'll go ahead and create list. We have to give the list a name. So let's give them a name called Pub Mixer. I want to do this in April. So I'm going to create it based on, the month April. Ideally, you should always give a description also in the next text box. I'm going to write, this is a list of publishers whose phone numbers are known and will be invited to the event. Sure. So now you will see that when you create a list, HubSpot gives you a couple of options. You can create an active list, or you can create a static list. It is important to understand the difference between an active list and a static list. Active list means that every time a particular property inside HubSpot's contact changes, that list gets updated. Take an example. So I have right now a few publishers whose phone numbers I have, right? And I want to send an invite today. But what if tomorrow or day after my team adds a few more publishers whose numbers they could have or they have? Now, I would want that list to therefore always be updated. So if you have a list that you continuously want gets updated, right? It could be details of customers, it could be, transacting customers, or anything that requires that in your business, you should make an active list. Now, a static list is a list where what we will do is all the contacts that we take today, right? So as of 21st March, these are the contacts that I have whose phone numbers I know in the example that we are taking, right? Never add to that list. So tomorrow I could make a change in my CRM where I remove somebody's phone number or I add a new contact whose phone numbers. This list remains the same. Now you would ask, why is this static list even needed? See, static list is extremely important in a scenario where you have a milestone based messaging that needs to go out. So if I need to send out a messaging to people who have transacted up to 20th, and I'm creating a list like that, right? or I want to only invite people whose contact numbers I know till the 21st of March, which is today's date, right? That is the case when I will make a static list, because this list will then just be saved and it will never change, right? So we'll go ahead and we'll create a static list for now. Creating the active list or static list is pretty much exactly the same thing. In case you want me to create a video on how to make an active list also, let me know and I'll be happy to do that. We'll click on static list. Before we go further, you will see two more objects here, company based or deal based. So if you want to create a list based on a deal, for example, you want to create a list of all the publishers or advertisers who, are giving you an ARR of, let's say, more than $100,000, right? Because that information is stored in a deal and not in a contact, you will create a deal based list. So creating the list, whether it is contact based, company based, or deal based, is the same because it relies on a property that you want to use. Okay. So we'll go ahead and click on next. We're creating a static list. Now, this is the sort of screen that you will get when the list has been made. The first thing that you want to do is add a filter. So we've added a filter, filtering based on contacts. If you remember the previous screen also, it was clear that we are going to be using contact based information, right? And what are the object informations that we need? We are going to be doing this based on contact properties. So we'll go ahead and click on contact properties. And what we are doing is we are filtering and we want to create this list only of people whose phone numbers we need. Now in this case, it could be, you know their names or their emails. You can select any filter that you want. So we'll go ahead and type in the phone number filter, right? So let's say we want a list of people whose phone numbers we know. Now if you see, no contact has come up. Why has this happened? That is because the filter that you have used here is equal to any of. What you want to do is simply make it is known. So basically what this is telling HubSpot is give me the list of people whose phone numbers or mobile phone numbers is known. So the moment you do that, you will see that there is a preview of the list which comes right here. Right now this screen does not for some reason scroll. I hope HubSpot fixes this in the future, but we'll go ahead and we'll click on save the list, right? Now what HubSpot is going to do is that it is going to process all these contacts and it is going to add them into a list whose name we have given. You will see the name here again, PubMixer April. In case you want to change that, you can still click on this little pencil icon and you should be good. So the processing has been completed. So what we will do is we will go back to the lists. So this is where your lists, once you have saved the list, will appear, right? You see the name of the list here and the list size as well, right? Now when it comes to the list size, if you click on this, this will essentially just open the contacts who are a part of this list in case there is something that you want to change about it. If you want to go inside the list itself, you will click here and you will see all these contacts, the mobile number is known. Now you may have seen that here it is blank. This is because this is the column for phone numbers. What we have selected as the filter is mobile phone. So how do you do that? You click on actions, edit columns, and you will add mobile phone number to the view. By default, for some reason, HubSpot does not add mobile phone number. So as you can see now, it has been validated so that the list is appropriate. It's a static list where all the mobile numbers are visible. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to try and move this ahead. You simply have to select and move to the back. So there you have it. You have a list where the mobile numbers are known. Now, the question is, how do we go ahead and use this list or do anything about it, right? Now we can do multiple things that we want. The easiest or the simplest thing that you can potentially do is if you want to send them a mass mailer and you're not using something like HubSpot, you may be using, let's say MailChimp or any of the Amazon-based services for emails, you can go ahead and simply export this list. What HubSpot will do is it'll ask you what are the different types of properties that you want in this export. And once you have exported this list, you will get a list of people who are matching your criteria based on which you have already created the list. And you can import it into whatever software or whichever tool that you are using to go ahead and send them a marketing mailer. But if you're gonna be using HubSpot itself to be sending a marketing mailer, and again we will have a video which talks in detail about how to use HubSpot itself to send a bunch of marketing mailers, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a flavor on how this lists or creating of this list can be really useful into something like that. So just go ahead, click on marketing, and you will see email as an option. So when you click on this email as an option, it allows you to create your first campaign, right? I'm just going to, for now, these are just some options that HubSpot gives you. I'm going to click on create an email, right? So you want to create a simple regular email, because my intention of doing this entire activity is to be able to send an email. You will ask, why do you need a phone number? I need the phone number because the way I have designed my marketing funnel is that I'm going to send the first email and then I'm going to call these people, right? Essentially means that I get a better turnover in my event. So we click on regular. We can just pick up any template. You can go ahead and close this tour. So yes, close. We are going to create a simple emailer, right? And we could just write, so it has picked up this contact property from the contact object. So hello first name. I am writing this email to invite. Have been totally messing with my spellings, so sorry about that. I'm writing this email to invite you to an event we are conducting. Please RSVP. Of course, there will be some date and time and venue and a lot of other things. I'm just creating this to kind of explain it to you. Now, when you click on this, you can of course go ahead and click on action to see the preview of this email, right? But if you simply just hover over this button of review and send, it says recipients is required. So simply click on this recipients, and here in the recipients, when you click on this drop down, it shows you immediately the contact list that you have created. So if you see, my PubMixer contact list has come here absolutely upfront. Now this is really useful if you want to do multiple emails or you want to send emails, different emails to various different people who have been segregated in your HubSpot account, right? So all I will do is I will click on this. It automatically has picked up that there are 6 people who are a part of this campaign or this list, and you can send this campaign to them. So this is precisely why we decide to use lists. Now, based on your requirement, you can choose to use whether you want to go with an active list or you want to go with a static list. However, what we have seen when it comes to any automations that you want to build, so let's say you want to use a workflow and that workflow has to pick up, anytime a new contact has been added to a particular list, send them this email. The active list is most useful at that standpoint. Till the next time, thank you.